of that baby that we're waiting on, that's heading towards Bethlehem. So would you stand with us and join us with Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all we nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Oh, hark the angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Got excited. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strain. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee, Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Thank you, everyone. That was beautiful. Thank you, Sally. Welcome to Unity of Syracuse, and we are glad that you are here this morning. My name is Ann Wall, and I'm your platform assistant for today. Live streaming is back, and also we continue the closed circuit downstairs. So we're going to begin with the daily word, and it begins, I immerse myself in God's love. God's love is a gift that each member of the human family shares. It is the love that binds us together and gives us the ability to create harmony in our world. When we make the decision to think and feel and act lovingly, we live as the love that we are. and the love between us blossoms and grows. Today, I immersed myself in the awareness of God's love within me. My heart overflows with a renewed and growing awareness of this love that created and sustains me. I am motivated to give of myself to service to others. I release the old resentments and offer forgiveness to those who have hurt me. I smile and share my joy. I embrace oneness with God and harmony with all people. And now, from Corinthians, faith, hope, and love abide, these three, and the greatest of these is love. And as I was meditating this morning before I was getting up and getting dressed, etc., I was so much aware of so many things going on in my mind, boop, 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 boop. And then I would find myself taking a breath. And I would take the breath in, and I would take the breath out. And there was my reminder of the presence of God. At every moment we are breathing in and breathing out this love of the Spirit of God within us. And then I read something, and I'll leave with that. Today, I let Christ's vision look upon all things for me and judge them not, but give each one a miracle of love instead. A miracle of love. That is what we are about today, and it is such a joy for me to see all of you loving, all of you an expression of love, both giving and receiving. And for that, we are truly, truly grateful. And now we are welcoming Bonnie Wilson to come up to read the Advent message.
Love, third Sunday in Advent, December 15, 2019. Living love. More than anything else, Jesus called us to love God, love ourselves, and love each other. We are to love our enemies as well as our friends. Jesus knew that unconditional love changes lives and changes our world. Love is always calling us higher. It beckons us to expand our compassion and understanding to treat others as we would wish to be treated. When we live in love, we are radiating the essence of the Christ within us. The fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, generosity, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Galatians 5:22-23. Today, we light the candle of love.
Thank you, Bonnie. Our children are already downstairs with their teachers, so we simply give a reminder for parents or the adult who has brought the children here today that they are responsible for their children once the church service is over. And now we're going to greet one another, and that we remind ourselves that we have a sacred greeting. In deference to time and to the sensitivity of people, we ask that you do not walk around the church to hug one another's, but simply greet folks with a handshake or a namaste. And that might be happening after a song.
Nope.
Nope? Okay. Sorry. So be sure to take time after the service to greet one another with the hugs that we so like. All right?
Statement of being. If we could say our statement of being and then sing this song, remain standing and sing with us if you would. God is all, both visible and
invisible. Presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all. He is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am one with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
I think you know this song, so if you just sing it with us, it's about that little drummer boy.
Come, they told me, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum.
Our finest gifts we bring.
Our finest gifts we bring, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum,
To lay before our King.
to lay before our King, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum, ra-pum-pum-pum, ra-pum-pum-pum.
Little baby.
Little baby, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum.
I am a poor boy too.
I am a poor boy too, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum.
I have no gift to bring. I have no gift to bring.
Pa-ra-pum-pum-pum. That's fit to give a king, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum, ra-pum-pum-pum, ra-pum-pum-pum.
Mary nodded.
Mary nodded, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum.
The ox and lamb kept time.
The ox and lamb kept time, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum.
I played my drum for him.
I played my drum for him, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum.
I did my best for him.
I played my best for him, pa-ra-pum-pum-pum, ra-pum-pum-pum, ra-pum-pum-pum.
Me and my drums.
Me and my drums. Me and my drums. Me and my drums.
Please check out the announcements in the bulletin, but I will touch on a few of them. The holiday craft fair continues today after service, so last chance to get those raffle tickets in, et cetera, et cetera. We have a new members class starting the first Sunday in January at 10 a.m., part of the discussion group. So please sign up in the bookstore. Christmas Eve candle lighting service is December 24th at 5:30, and the Burning Bowl service, December 31st at 7 p.m. This is a reminder, parking and the falling ice. So right at the back door, if you park along the side of the wall, there is real danger of falling ice coming on your car when we have these bad weather times. So we really encourage you to stay away from that area. Bears of Love, I see one right there, a few others, bring new stuffed animals to be loved up in the pews, and they will then be donated. So I also ask you to, I think there's a reminder? Yes.
We're getting ready to have our Christmas mailing go out, and we would ask that everybody here today pick up your letter so we don't have to post it. So we've got them set out. They're generally alphabetical in the back, but we'll be downstairs afterwards to make sure that you get it. But pick up your Christmas letter. Thank you.
Amen. And also a reminder to recycle the bulletin cover by leaving it in the back. So don't take it home. Okay. We now welcome our guests today. And if you are the first-time visitor, do we have any first-time visitors here today? Wonderful. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. We have a packet with a gift of a candle representing the light of the Spirit shining within you. Attached to your welcome packet is a yellow slip, so please fill it out and so we can get to know you, and take it downstairs to the bookstore for an additional gift. And we invite everyone to stay after downstairs in the fellowship hall for our wonderful connection with one another on a wonderful fellowship way. We've given out the bag. All right. We're now on to our basic principles. On the screen, we have 5 basic principles, and these are our basic tenets of unity. So I would like to invite one or two of you to stand and share something that has happened in your life in this past week that connects to some aspect of one of those wonderful tenets. And please limit to 1 or 2 minutes. Yes. Yeah.
So I guess this is in line with number 4. I had a situation with my sister, and she needed bypass surgery, and I want to take the moment to thank the prayer chaplains here that assisted me in affirmative prayer towards her healing. And so now she's, it almost seems like she's back 100%, so she's doing great.
Glad to hear. One more. Well, I will simply say that in kind of along with your prayer for your sister, I would simply like to say that I was taking care of my sister for 10 days in every aspect possible. And for those 10 days, every single thing that had to happen, happened. And that was a gift of the prayer of everyone, sending love, sending affirmation, sending courage, sending patience. And it was all because of the love of all that has been given to my family and to me a lot through this community. So, similar. All right. Now is the prayer portion of the service, and will the prayer chaplain serving today please stand? I think it's Stacy and, okay. Every Sunday from 10:45 to 10:55, prayer chaplains are available to pray with you, and again after service. So at this time, we bless our prayer intentions and requests, and please bring the prayer box forward. Unity was founded on prayer, and at Silent Unity, prayer has been continuous for nearly 130 years. If you have not yet placed your written prayer intention in our prayer box, you can do so at the end of the prayer service, and you can pray silently with us during this time. Prayer intentions are held in prayer in confidence here for 30 days. We do not look at them, and then we mail them to Silent Unity, where they are held in prayer for another 30 days. So now we will have a prayer chaplain pray.
Father, Spirit, at this time we have before us these intentions of the heart, these requests that it is in the asking that there is the receiving, for they are one and the same. And here before us, even if it's not in this box, we have it on our hearts. And we know that with that all is well. Spirit knows, it's heard, and we can just let it go. Let it be with spirit with God. And yes, all is truly well. And so it is. Amen.
See the night went to the little lamb. Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
Way up in the sky, little lamb. Do you see what I see?
Do you see what I see?
A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite. With a tail as big as a kite. See the little lamb to the shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear?
Ringing through the sky, shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear?
A song, high above the trees, with a voice as big as the sea. With a voice as big as the sea. Say the shepherd boy to the mighty king. Do you know what I know?
Do you know what I know?
In your palace warm, mighty king. Do you know what I know?
Do you know what I know?
A child shivers in the cold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Let us bring him silver and gold. Said the king to the people everywhere. Listen to what I say.
Listen to what I say.
Pray for peace, people everywhere. Listen to what I say.
Listen to what
Sing it with
I
us.
say.
The child, sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He will bring us goodness and light. The child, sleeping in the night, he will bring us goodness and light. He will bring us goodness and light.
Thank you. I want to especially thank the celebration team for singing two of the songs that I requested, The Little Drummer Boy and Do You Hear What I Hear? Because this is the third Sunday of Advent, and Squish and I are going to talk to you about a kind of love that exists only if we can reach that innocence and openness of children. There are basically three kinds of love. There's erotic love, which I haven't ever spoken about in church. There's philios, which means love of one's fellow humans and animals on earth. That's what I talked about last month. This month, the kind of love that I'm going to talk about is agape. It's called agape. And it can only be reached, it's divine love. It can only be reached when we approach life from this innocence of a child. Now, we may have the knowing of adults, the knowing of very sophisticated adults, schooled in new thought, but still, to feel this agape, we need to approach life from the innocence of children. Right, Squish? Yeah. He says it's right. Now, Squish will be going to a child. In the meantime, I'm giving him lots of love. It says here on his tag that his name is Francis, and that in the Squishmallow community, he's a firefighter, and in his spare time, he reads comic books. But I kind of like Squish, don't you? So anyway, he's going to help me here. Christmas is about the child to me. I remember many Christmases getting that feeling of overpowering love, waiting for something that was good, something that was right, something that was greater than me. Of course, Christmas is about the birth of the Christ child. The birth of the Christ child in Bethlehem over 2,000 years ago, and the birth of the Christ within us always, because we carry this Christ child within us. Christmas is about the child. And Christmas is about the kind of love, unconditional love, that a child feels. So I'm talking about both Christmas and children. And the music, thank you so much, was perfect, because the little drummer boy gave of what he had. And the little boy took what the night wind told him, intuition, and brought it out to the world as love, as peace. Rudolf Steiner said this about the Christ child. Of all that at other times connects us with the world, nothing, neither wisdom nor power, can approach the Christ child as St. Luke's gospel describes him, but love. So I want to talk a little bit, just for a second, about the difference between St. Luke's gospel and St. Matthew's gospel, because we do conflate them, and we often don't know which is which. St. Luke's gospel is the gospel that spoke of the angels on high singing, the angels we have heard on high, singing to the shepherds in the plains that were watching over their sheep. And they went down to the manger to greet the child that was in the manger. The Gospel of St. Matthew, on the other hand, speaks of the three wise men who were astrologers coming from the east to give gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So we have brought these two stories together. We give gifts because of this child that was born, as portrayed in St. Matthew. And we give gifts of love. And we listen to our intuition, the angels, as in the Gospel of Luke. So both Gospels tell the story in their own way. So, what is this love, this innocent love that we celebrate? And how do we show it in our lives during this season and every day, all the time. Last month I spoke about, does love mean anything to us? The word is blatantly overused. We love ice cream. We love a friend's dress. We love God. We love the Christ child. And we love the way our hair looks today. That's not true, but that's beside the point. But we don't think about the ways that we misuse this sacred word. And many things that we say we love aren't even worth noticing, much less loving. Loving everything is pretty much the same as loving nothing. So what I said last month was that God is love, and we embody this love. And we give this love that has incarnated into us, to the world, to our friends, to each other. Love is a sense of being connected. It is who we are inside. But it's also what we do on the outside. So it's this two things, the what we do and the who we are. And if you notice, children are exactly who they are always. No guys, no Ruths, no anything. And we aren't. This agape love is a love of feeling. We feel it. We sense it. Now, there have been a few times that I've actually experienced this in normal life. I mean, I remember one time I was sitting in a cafeteria with my daughter, and we were eating black bean burgers. I mean, that is pretty mundane, right? And all of a sudden, I felt this outpouring of love and this inflow of love between us. It's something I actually felt. And I feel it every day when my cat snuggles up next to me. Can we feel this agape love for the divinity that exists in everything? Can we? Well, we can if we come as children. And I don't mean childishly. I mean with an open heart and with an open mind. The way children approach life. So I started thinking about things we do. And I drive a lot in my job. So I drive around a lot, and 2 stations that I listen to are playing nonstop Christmas music, okay? Now, the hymns that we sing here are sacred hymns. They are about the Christ child. They're about the celebration of a true Christmas. But what I hear as I drive back and forth from my job is about anything but Christmas. Unless I bring a child's understanding to what I'm hearing. Jesus told us that unless we become like little children, we can't enter the kingdom of heaven. Now, that kingdom is the godness of all of us and the knowing that we are one and one with God. So anyway, I decided I would go through some of the Christmas songs. I thought it might be fun to go through some of the Christmas songs and how to approach them as a child. from a holy, sacred point of view. So I'm going to start with a few of them that really drive me nuts because I hear them all the time. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, you know? I can't sing with, that's why I'm not in the celebration team. What on earth does this have to do with Christmas? So I stopped my adult cynicism and I try to hear this as if I'm a child. And what I think is, there's a little deer, a little damaged deer. He or she was damaged by a hunter's wound last year. And this little deer came to my feeder, bird feeders, every day last year. And it's back. Now, this is a regular white-tailed deer. Rudolph was a reindeer. But there's something to me profoundly sacred in that little deer that comes to my bird feeders and looks up at the window where I'm watching. And I can feel this communication because I'm looking at it with an innocence. So what if we looked at Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer as a way that something that has light can carry through the night someone who wants to give gifts to others? What if we looked at the song that way? I started looking at it that way. I even started singing along with it. That was not, not too great. But anyway, Rudolph is carrying a saintly person, Saint Nicholas, across a sky to give gifts to children, to bring hope to the world, right? So if we have faith in that spirit, we have agape, the love, divine love. Or another of my favorites, Frosty the Snowman. I am sick of hearing this song. When it comes on the radio, I change the station, and Frosty the Snowman is on the other station. So I figure, okay, I'm supposed to learn something about this. So again, I become like a child. I open my heart. And what I say to myself is, what if we believed that everything we created had magical life? What if everything we create, even if it melts away, brings joy to somebody? What if? And then I hear something like rocking around the Christmas tree. And I think, please, what does rocking around the Christmas tree? Well, when I rock, I'm pretty joyful. So why can't we see this and be joyful? Why can't we rock around it instead of walking around it without noticing it? Okay. There are some Christmas carols that I can't look at as a child, so I do change the station, like Baby, It's Cold Outside. It is. And then there's one I really can't stand, Santa Baby. And I've got to say, whoever wrote Let It Snow didn't live in Syracuse. But if we look at these things with humor, that's a childlike virtue, right? Humor is. So what about shopping? We also shop. Now, when I shop, I have a list, and my daughter and I have I mean, her fiance simply wants a gift card to Amazon. He doesn't want anything else. But I'll be walking through the store, and all of a sudden, my heart will go out to something, and I'll say, that's Laura. That would look so great on Laura. Or I see something else and say, I got to get that for Jeff. I don't care. The Amazon gift card is one thing, but I've got to get this for Jeff. The love comes out. It's this childish wonder that comes out in shopping. If we look at it as a blessing, as a giving of what we have to those we love, instead of looking at it as a chore. So if we look at almost any of the so-called commercial Christmas customs with the eyes of a child, we just might understand the meaning of agape love that we celebrate today. This childlike wonder. Squish understands. Squish is going to make a child very happy when it goes to whoever a guy, I'm not going to keep, I want to keep him, but I'm not going to. Christmas is about the child. Think back for a minute to when you were a child. Just think back. Feel that magic in the air. Feel the wonder. If there was wonder in your childhood, Christmas is first about the Jesus child in a manger from either of the Gospels, and about the birth of this child, as I said over and over again, into our hearts and into the world. Now, the world doesn't look very Christ-like right now unless we look at it with the eyes of a child. Things are happening that will change the world for the better if we believe, if we hold that intention, if we hold that simple prayer of love for everyone and everything. Love really does conquer all. Christmas is about that child, maybe a child in your family, who waits in awe and wonder for that red-suited saint that flies across the cosmic darkness lit by an animal's glow to leave that child its cherished gifts. It's about the child, excited, and what's going on?
To love our neighbor, whoever has a silver SUV GSD 7141, she needs it moved or she's having it towed. She said she had 10 minutes. Thank you.
Love is also about being open to the needs of our neighbors. That's not part of what I had planned to say because that's filial love. But if we look at this not as an interruption, but as a reminder that we owe respect and honoring to all, it becomes agape. Christmas is about the excitement of the child. That excitement is love. And if we're going to feel real love, we can never forget that Christmas is not only about the Christ child, which is its major focus, and not only about the child within all of us. It's also about that child who has no home. That child who's been separated from its parents because it's in a place that somebody else says it shouldn't be. It's about the child who wanders. It's about the refugee child of whatever faith. Because the inner Christ, the inner agape love exists in all faiths. They may name it differently, but it's there. It's about those children who wander through refugee lands. It's about the child who, given a chance, will save the world by giving its own gift to the world. So let me tell you about a child that was abandoned. My mother. I don't often talk about my mother as a child, but my mother was born on Christmas Day. So I never think of Christmas Day without also thinking of my mother. Born on Christmas Day, orphaned a couple of years later. Put into foster homes where she was beaten, where she was abused, where she was left to wither and possibly even die, where at 6 years old she was scrubbing floors, and this is the truth of my mother. She was with a family that came down with typhoid fever. This was the family that made her scrub floors at age 6. Every single person in that family died of typhoid fever, according to the way she told the story. Even the dog did. And she was found by a priest named Father Kavanaugh. And the priest said, "We will take you in." And he took her in to Eau Claire Academy in Cincinnati, Wisconsin, because she was born in Milwaukee. And it was in this religious, spiritual environment with nuns and priests and other children from very wealthy families, because it cost a great deal to go to this school, that she began to write her poetry, and that she began to understand the meaning of love, and that she discovered her mysticism. She said she would go outside in thunderstorms and sit under trees. Now, this was not the most brilliant thing my mother ever did, but she would do this and write her poetry. And I'm going to tell you one of her poems now, because it's her Christmas poem. Softly to the world comes the Christmas morn, like some fragrant perfume borne upon a frail flower. Delicate, pure, and deep breathes the earth. Its joy rests within the arms of a virgin's love. Low sleeps the word on her breast. She was not meant to be the refugee child that she was. But if she hadn't been that child, and if there hadn't been agape love coming from the nuns and priests at St. Clair Academy, my mother might never have discovered either her poetic talent or her mystical soul. So we have to look at Christmas from the point of view of these children who need help. She was helped. And she gave me, through her poetry, through her love, through her quirky sense of humor, through all of that, a lot of who I am right now. So we have this lesson, and me, we need to thank this child who had been abandoned for growing up and becoming somebody who would be a worthy mother. So anyway, Christmas is also for that child inside of us. I've mentioned that. The child that lives inside, no matter how jaded we are on the outside. Christmas is about that spark of reverence and love that ignites within us during this season. For we each have that child within us, and we can't reach it through knowing it. We can only reach it through loving our inner child. We can only reach the inner divinity through love. So I would like you to close your eyes. Once again, I'm doing the meditation as part of the service. And I'm going to read from Christian community poet, priest, Adam Biddleston, who I think best guides us on this journey of agape. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. And let these words become a part of you. May the child in us follow the way where the noise of the machine grows silent, where the shadow show of print vanishes, where nature redeemed rejoices about the Christ who wakens our souls. Where he is not seen, may we begin to show his love. Word, may we begin to speak his word. May we find in souls the will that seeks his will for the world. We find the word in silence. I invite you to begin to bring your awareness back to the room, to feel the love that's in this room. There is a warmth and energy of love that's in this room that I can feel up here. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes. Christmas love, agape, is for the child within everyone of every age, everywhere. For the Christ is the holiness that lives within us and among us. Right, Squish? Yeah? You want me to say that? Really? Okay. Squish says for me to tell you that he loves you and he wishes you a merry and love-filled Christmas. And so it is. And so we allow it to be. Thank you, God. Amen. And my affirmation. May I have my affirmation, please? I look with love from the eyes of my inner child. Let's do that this month. Let's do it always. Can you put your hands over your heart And say this with me. I look with love from the eyes of my inner child. One more time. I look with love from the eyes of my inner child. And as I said, so it is. And so we feel it, and we let it move out from us to the world. So, it is now time for our offerings, our tithes and offerings. And if you would take your tithes and offerings and imbue them with a love that you feel right now, that divine sacred love, so that these tithes and offerings can go out and bring love to the world through us. And say with me, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. You are my source.
Starlight shines, the night is still. Shepherds watching from a hill. I close my eyes and see the night when love was born. A perfect child gently waits, a mother bends to kiss God's face. I close my eyes and see the night when love was born. Angels fill the midnight sky and they sing, Hallelujah, He is Christ, our King. Emmanuel, Prince of Peace, love comes down for you and me. Heaven's gift, the holy spark to light the way inside our hearts. Bethlehem, through your small door came the hope we've waited for. The world was changed forevermore when love was born. I close my eyes to see the night when love was born.
Thank you, Sally and Carol. We bless these tithes and offerings with the love that is within us, knowing and affirming that they go forth to assist each and every one of us in bringing love to everyone we meet. For love is who we are, and love is all there is. And so it is. And so in gratitude, we say amen. So now it's time, Christmas is about the child, it's time that we welcome our children. Walking in the light of God, we are walking in the light of God. So we talked about love, and we talked about how Christmas is for children and about the child. And this is Squish, who helped me with my service. So I want all the children to see Squish and to give Squish lots of love before he goes forth to bring love to other children somewhere. So what did you guys do?
We talked about life, and we talked about kind of our experience in life, and we started making our lanterns for a Christmas Eve celebration. It was very messy. So it's a paper mache going over balloons, and at some point they'll dry, hopefully before Christmas. And then they still need some more work. We'll continue them next week, and then eventually they'll be popped, and then we'll put like a little electric light inside. A reminder that after service today, we're going to run through the song, so anybody whose children can hang out to practice. We're going to practice today, and then we're going to practice again next week. This little light of mine, and we're going to do that. So, and that's it. That's what we got going on. It's a lot of fun, a lot of goop, a lot of life.
Oh, this group does have a lot of life. So let's bless these awesome children. We bless our children wherever they are. We see them surrounded by love and light throughout the week. We have a thriving, expanded youth and family ministry. And our prayer for protection, and let us really think about these words, pour love into these words. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all agree. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song of love. To take